Yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Nuara, Zurab Mikeladze, Leonic Leonov, Nicola Caputo, Sultan, Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public?
Yep, pretty weird. Pretty weird. I thought we were only getting the redactions on the victims. Oh my God. It turns out it's not just the victims whose names were redacted. It was co-conspirators. One must ask the question why the FBI was hiding and sheltering the names of co-conspirators. One must ask the question why they were sheltering the names of co-conspirators who weren't even American citizens, as a matter of fact. Todd Blanche was posting vigorously last night, but only made himself look like an idiot. They admit he unredacted it, and then said, we're hiding nothing. You just said you were. I know. I saw it. The document you cite has numerous victim names. We just have the unredacted Les Wexner's name from this document, but his name already appears in the files thousands of times. DOJ is hiding nothing. Yeah, the co-conspirator document is redacted, though, dumbass. Just because he is unredacted in other parts of the fucking tranche of data that is readily available in the Epstein files doesn't mean that, like, this is not a profoundly important aspect of the document that you redacted. This is ridiculous. Okay? Yeah, we know Les Wexner is all over the Epstein files. We also know Les Wexner was directly involved with Jeffrey Epstein publicly. That's not something you can hide. Why do you hate the people who pay for your luxury house in one of the highest cost of living areas in the U.S.? Says Haas, calm down. I don't know. I just hate him. I hate you. It is what it is, you know? Put the subscription in the bag, little bro. No, we'll unredact this guy too. But we're going to continue now.
And if we found 6 men that they were hiding in 2 hours, imagine how many men they are covering up for in those 3 million files. But the story gets worse. The reality is that Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed these files in March, long before Thomas Massey and I passed the Epstein Transparency Act. Now, my bill is clear. The Epstein Transparency Act requires them to unredact those FBI files. And yet the Justice Department said to me and to Congressman Massey, we just uploaded whatever the FBI sent us. And guess what? The FBI sent scrubbed files. That means the survivor's statement to the FBI, naming rich and powerful men who went to Epstein's island, who went to his ranch, who went to his home and raped and abused underage girls or saw underage girls being paraded, they're all hidden. They're all redacted. It's a little bit of a farce. They're inviting all the members of Congress to go to see the Department of Justice, quote unquote, unredacted files, but they've got all redacted files from the FBI. And it's not the fault of the Justice Department attorneys. They were just told upload things that Donald Trump's FBI had already scrubbed. It's a blatant violation of the Epstein Transparency Act, but it also asks a fundamental question. Who are they protecting? Why are they protecting these rich and powerful men, people I call part of the Epstein class? Why are we in a country where there is no elite accountability for people who do the most heinous things? You have in England the king now calling for an investigation and possible prosecution of his own brother. You have in Norway the princess who no longer has support to be the queen. And yet in the United States of America, we have someone in the cabinet.
True. it is a pretty big L that you have monarchs that are showing more backbone than the supposed American democratic process here. It's pretty wild, man. It's pretty fucking wild. Like, European nation states demonstrate more competence in their governance than we do. We don't feel the need to do so. Yeah, it's startling how much a bigger impact the Epstein files is having in Europe than the U.S. They react in a more normal and more transparent manner to the Epstein revelations than we have. We just straight up look at the Epstein stuff and we're like, oh wow, I guess we all, this is a moment of vindication for everyone that kind of knew that we have an elite pedophilic cabal that's basically running the country in a bipartisan manner, and they're connected through this one specific pedophilic sex trafficker who works for both the state of Israel and also the United States of America, definitely CIA and Mossad. There's not really much we can do about it. It is what it is. Like, that's the attitude overall, and it's fucking crazy.
Cabinet, Howard Lutnick, who is all over these Epstein files, who allegedly had business with Epstein after he was convicted of pedophilia, and he still is in the cabinet. We need to ask ourselves, are we in America going to have elite accountability? Are we going to call on rich and powerful people who broke the law or cavorted with a pedophile, a convicted pedophile? Are we going to call them to account? Are we going to have prosecutions for billionaires who went to this island and either raped underage girls or saw underage girls being raped and didn't say anything? Are we going to have investigations? I'll tell you what this is about. It's not just about the 1,200 survivors. It's about 2 tiers of justice in America. It's about people who can accumulate wealth and power and don't have to care about the rest of America. They have destroyed so much of this country. Income inequality is at a 60-year high. Workers' salaries are less than they have been for 75 years as a part of GDP. Somehow this country seems to be working for the rich and powerful, but it's not working for ordinary working class Americans.
And it's all held together with elite relationships through pedophilia. It is crazy. Relationships to the nation state of Israel, relationships through pedophilia, sex trafficking of minors. Like, I don't even know what to say, man. Have you heard about the other guys other than Wexner and the Sultan? Yeah.
I say enough. It's time to begin with accountability for the Epstein class. Hold them in front of Congress, those people who visited the island or did business with Epstein after he was a convicted pedophile. Investigate them, prosecute them, and let's return to democratic accountability in the United States of America. Let's return to one system of justice in the United States of America. Let's return to a place where every American has a stake in this country.
Trump's FBI scrubbed these files in March. Yeah. Trump's FBI scrubbed these files back in March. Documents Justice got had the redactions the FBI had made back then.
For you and Congressman Massey said there are at least 6 men whose names have been redacted who should be incriminated by their inclusion in the files. Can you elaborate more on that? I mean, is it clear was that part of the group that was redacted in the first place?
No, that is not part of the group. It doesn't look like that was part of the group that was redacted in the first place. There are certain documents that say there are 10 co-conspirators, 15 co-conspirators. In that document, some of them were women. Now, I don't know if those women were survivors or not survivors, but...
Can you speculate why those 6 were redacted? There's more than 6. 6 is just people that they know of as co-conspirators. 6 people, 6 redacted names are co-conspirators that they've identified. There's probably a fuck ton more, chat. Okay? These are just co-conspirators that the Department of Justice also identified as co-conspirators. This is a tiny, tiny sliver, like 0.001% of the overall documents that they've been able to look at. There's just too much information in here. And that it took them like 2 hours to go through all this stuff. So when they say 6 people that should have been unredacted but were hidden from the public as co-conspirators, they're talking about some high-profile individuals that they were able to identify. The real number is probably way, way higher than that. Who would be a shock to you if they were in the files? No one. At this point, no one. No one at all would be a shock to me. America is the greatest superpower on the planet, and America and Israel are in cahoots with one another, and therefore Jeffrey Epstein touched every single person. No pun intended. That's precisely the reason why you see him with like high-profile celebrities every now and then. Like, there is not a single person that would shock me. It depends on the level of connection that they had to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? That's it. Like, when you say, oh, if Michelle Obama was on there, I'd be shocked. Like, how is that shocking to you? Jeffrey Epstein was in these circles. Michelle Obama could have easily been at an event that Jeffrey Epstein was at. You know what I mean? I mean, Zoran's mom was at an event that Jeffrey Epstein was at. Hello? There's a difference between being mentioned in the files and being a co-conspirator, or the level of involvement that you had and the frequency in which you met Jeffrey Epstein. For example, the Obamas are not in the files directly, right? Like, they are mentioned in the files, of course, you know, because Barack Obama was the president. However, Barack Obama's close associates are directly involved with Jeffrey Epstein. And the same goes for Joe Biden. Joe Biden, as far as we know, did not have like a direct contact with Jeffrey Epstein at all. And yet there are a fuck ton of people that are in close vicinity, close proximity to Joe Biden that are all up and down the Epstein files. They're constantly talking to Jeffrey Epstein. There's constant back and forth. There's constant correspondence. So it shouldn't be shocking to see like certain celebrities that you love that have been connected at some point with Jeffrey Epstein by way of just like being at the same event or something. That's normal. But like I said, it's not remotely surprising to me if we see anyone and everyone on there.
We give the benefit of the doubt to justice. Maybe those were survivors who also happened to be co-conspirators and they appropriately redacted them. But there are 6 men in those documents, some of them foreign-born, a couple of them in the United States with their pictures, and there's absolutely no explanation for why they...
I mean, you're saying, like, what about the Chinese officials? There were some Chinese officials in the Epstein files. They apparently were saying to one another, be careful of the Jewish dog, when referencing Jeffrey Epstein. So even, of course, there's going to be members of the, Chinese government that are going to be in here. Jeffrey Epstein is literally a fucking agent of the CIA. Yeah, the only famous celebrities that you won't see in there are only not in there because they're too young to be in there. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it this way. Mehdi Hassan is mentioned in the Epstein files. But the reason why he was mentioned in the Epstein files is because someone was sending Jeffrey Epstein an email with one of Mehdi Hassan's debates about Islam. Okay? Norm Finkelstein is mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files. But the only reason why the Young Turks is mentioned, wait, really? So they're, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, it's not that surprising though, because they were looking at everything, right? Zayn Malik was in the Epstein files, even though he's relatively young. But the reason why he was being mentioned is because he was identified as an anti-Israel celebrity. So not every mention is the same. Anyway.
They were redacted. Now, we just discovered 6 men in a 2-hour review. My guess is there are more of those people, and we are going to petition the Justice Department to release that. That could have been incompetence and a cover-up. The broader cover-up, though, that I'm concerned about is the scrubbing that took place in March in the FBI files, where all of this redacted information was then sent to the Justice Department. I think U.S. attorneys looked at it in good faith, but they were looking at documents that were already redacted. So when I said to the Justice Department person, who was very nice, helping me search through the documents, I said, why are these redacted? He said, well, sir, we got them this way. So we just are putting them up in the form we got them. And that is the big issue that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, the torture video was from the UAE guy. The CIA had the Pakistani military and ISI hand over a random Pakistani prisoner and gave Trump claiming rights that he caught the Abbey Gate bomber and therefore got justice for Biden fiasco in Afghanistan. Supposedly, CIA wanted Trump to side with the Pakistani military over Khan. Yeah. Serious question, big bro. If they deleted some stuff entirely, if they could, why not delete most of them? I mean, I think they can't go super heavy-handed. Because obviously there are methods of figuring it out through the metadata, and that's the reason why they are figuring it out. It could also be because there's so much information out there that through this faucet of info, it's pretty hard to pick apart like the discernible parts of this. That's one thing. It makes it much harder to go through all the files and figure out exactly what's wrong, exactly what's taking place. You also run into the problem with, this chatter is correct, there's rank and filers. Because when you have a conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy to keep something from the public, there are going to be the larger the number of files are, the larger the number of agents that are working on the files, whether to redact them or to investigate it, right? And that means the likelihood of someone whistleblowing increases. This is why certain conspiracy theories are automatically considered ridiculous, like the moon landing, right? The amount of people that would have participated in creating the fake, like the staged moon landing, is so high that it's mathematically impossible for someone not to come out and reveal what actually took place. And I think like some of the Epstein revelations is the same as well, because so many people have played a role in the investigation. So many people have played a role in the cover-up that if they were to like not follow through on the law, I suspect that there would be some naysayers that would come out and be like, well, here's where the government actually fucked up, right? That's why you need blackmail, which a lot of these secret societies do, yes, but when there's too many links that hold a chain together, that's an endless amount of opportunity for the link to fucking fall apart. You can't blackmail every single person.